Good morning. My name is Thomas, and you are watching today's history. Have you ever asked yourself what could be going on with the Girl Scouts and why they put out such a delicious and incredible cookie such as the Thin Mints? What else do they do? These are all questions I've had. I've only ever known the Girl Scouts to just sell cookies. I've never looked into them as far as what else they do, what have they done, and where they are planning to go. Today, we'll do a deep dive and we'll find out exactly what's going on. Stay tuned. In the town of Savannah, Georgia, back in 1912, Juliette Gordon Lowe, also known as Daisy, started up the Girl Scouts with a group of 18 girls who all shared a sense of curiosity and thought they could do anything, which they're absolutely correct in. Keep in mind, at this time, women could not yet vote, so them breaking the social norms and going out and doing something is it's wild for 1912. Girls back then were expected to be in the kitchen, make clothes, and make babies, and that's about all. Scouts had a insane history starting off in 1911, a year before the Girl Scouts actually became official. Juliet had a meeting with Sir Robert Baden Powell, who founded the Boy Scouts, which will be a topic for another day and why they have SAM insurance. So stay tuned for that one. But with that meeting, she established the Girl Scouts the following year. This was a time of cultural change. It did not take long for the Girl Scouts to expand outside of the United States. Within 10 years, in the 1920s, the Girl Scouts expanded to China, Syria, and Mexico. And also, one of the earliest Native American Girl Scout troops was founded on, and I'm going to butcher this, was the Onondaga Reservation in New York State in 1921. The Girl Scouts were doing phenomenal work even during the Great Depression. Going into the 30s, they actually produced a pamphlet called Who Are the Girl Scouts, which they put out in Yiddish, Italian, and Polish to accommodate the incoming immigrants. The Great Depression had a lot of people coming into the United States, especially Polish, who were affected by World War II. While during the 30s, they did collect a lot of food and clothing for anyone and everyone in need, mostly the immigrants. During World War II, they operated a bicycle service that ran the Farm Aid Project, collecting scrap metal, growing victory gardens, as well as sponsoring defense institutes that taught women survival skills and techniques to comfort children during raid air attacks. Japanese American girls were sadly confined to internment camps in Utah and California, but they also established the troops. Thank you, FDR, one of the worst presidents in American history. But now in the 50s and 60s, this is when it definitely picked up internally. Of course, during the Korean War in the 50s, they assembled the Kits for Korea, which had items needed for Korean citizens. But this is where they started pushing for inclusivity and equality. Ebony Magazine actually reported in 1952 that even in the South, the Scouts were making slow and steady progress towards surmounting the racial barriers of the region. I never learned that the Girl Scouts were so influential during the civil rights movement, which is absolutely incredible. And in the 1960s, they were actually welcomed guests in Cape Kennedy, Florida, to watch the Apollo 12 moon landing as guests of Napa, which is freaking incredible. I couldn't imagine being alive in a time where you could watch the moon landing for one of the first few times ever. I don't know exactly which Apollo mission was the first one to make it, but I couldn't imagine being able to see that on TV and being a guest of NASA. That is phenomenal. And now in the 1970s, Gloria D. Scott, who was the first African American National Board president, stood up for environmental issues and launched the Eco Action Program. And they also helped Vietnamese refugee children adapt to their new homes in America because this was the midst of the Vietnam War. In the 1980s was when interest in the Girl Scouts exploded, which is crazy to think about because in the 20s it was expanding globally, all the way out through Shanghai, China, with 18 girls getting involved. But this is when you got to the Daisy level for kindergarten age girls. This is also when Troops distributed the contemporary issue series that addressed some of the most serious issues for teenage girls that were involving drug use, child abuse, and teenage pregnancy, which has been such an issue that for the last 40 years, it's all we hear about in school is teenage pregnancy. But when did the Girl Scouts start selling cookies and why? Well, originally it began as a fundraiser because previously Daisy had sold her own pearls to be able to fund the Girl Scouts. And I believe in the 40s, Franklin D. Roosevelt gave a family plate made of silver to be melted down and sold just to help fund the Girl Scouts. Today, I believe they are entirely funded by their cookie sales because there are millions of girls nationwide selling hundreds of boxes of cookies a day. This is probably billions of boxes of cookies being sold per day. These boxes of cookies were sold for 15 to 30 cents for a dozen. I don't know exactly how many cookies are in here. I don't count them, I just eat them. But I think I only paid like 6.50 for this box, which is still better than most that you can get today, like Chips Ahoy and Oreos. They're better cookies, they taste better. As an adult, I'll continue to buy these. They are delicious. If I'm ever diagnosed with diabetes, maybe I'll stop, maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll find out. So, what about controversy? This is huge. There really isn't any. Um there's a complaint about the ingredients list that there is lead or no, iron. Yeah. You have enriched flour, iron, vitamin B1. Iron's a pretty necessary ingredient in a lot of things. It's not bad, but people will still find something to complain about. I know some people have complained about palm oil. It's not bad. It's not horrible. The cookies meet FDA regulations. I should put a picture of that up on screen now, but there's not really any controversy regarding the ingredients list. People just want to complain. There's actually a lawsuit going on because they say it's a toxic ingredient with heavy metals and pesticides. That's unbased, or there's no basis for that. I'm actually going to follow that lawsuit and find out what happens. But then there was also a complaint alongside that regarding selling in front of marijuana dispensaries. I don't see an issue with that. They're gonna have the munchies. Let them get some cookies. Why make it hard? Why make them get their weed here and then go all the way over there to Walmart to get some cookies? Profit off of it. I get it. It's perfect. One of the bigger controversies that I can see people complaining about is the idea that this is child labor. Having them sell cookies. It's a fundraiser. It's extracurricular. I don't see any problem with it. It teaches kids how to handle money. It teaches them ethics and business and sales practices. It's a time that they're with their parents, which I don't see any problems with. But this is just my personal opinion. I'm not a parent. I see it as completely beneficial. There's no problems with that. I don't think it falls under child labor, especially, not 20 hours a week. I've seen Girl Scouts outside of my Walmart. They put up a stand. They just ask people, "Do you want to buy some cookies?" Which pretty much everybody says yes. The Girl Scouts have absolutely done a lot more than I ever thought or ever heard of throughout their history. I couldn't tell you what year they started up until today when I studied this. I didn't know that the controversies that they faced were honestly invalid in my opinion. I like what the Girl Scouts do, mostly sell cookies. I'm all for these things. They're delicious. My wife and I are gonna put a box down probably this weekend. And you see we have one more box. We're gonna have to go buy more. um, they're nothing like the Boy Scouts, which originally that's what I envisioned. I did my research. I tried to find out if the Girl Scouts have SAM insurance. They do not. They have a general insurance coverage that covers all directors and officials, DNO insurance. So nothing explicitly regarding sexual assault and molestation, which the Boy Scouts do. I will be doing a video on the Boy Scouts when that day comes. There's a lot of controversy regarding the Boy Scouts. I'm gonna have a fun time with that video. So tell me what you think down below regarding the Girl Scouts. If you had a child, would you have them get involved in the Girl Scouts? Are you buying their cookies? Let me know what your favorite cookie flavors is. Mine are clearly the Thin Mints. They're the best ones to me. I don't think I've had a couple other flavors. Nothing compares to the Thin Mints. Let me know what your favorite Thin Mint cookies are down below. Yes, they have to be Thin Mints. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.